Angie ATWOOD, Westerly accredited tutor based in Birmingham, England, and I'm delighted to be here today to share with you the details of my upcoming Zoom dual quilt course. I've scheduled a couple of class dates and times that will specifically work with US time zones, so I'm really excited about that. Last winter I had a small group of US students and it worked incredibly well for them, and I really enjoyed teaching people outside the UK and Europe, so I just want to expand on that this winter, and so teaming up here with So Steady to share the details of the course with you that will be starting late September with an initial class just to discuss requirements and fabrics and things, and then kicking off properly in October. Before we get into the details, the specific details of the course, I'd just like to go back and share some of the design history about Dual, how it came about and why it works so brilliantly as a development programme, especially if you're fairly new to ruler work. So I've been designing and playing with Westerly templates since 2016 when they first were imported into the UK. And I'd say for the first kind of 12 months I was demonstrating at shows, honing my own skills, developing my own skills, and then I began teaching beginners workshops and intermediate workshops about 2017 in 2017. And some of my first students, once they'd got up and running with the basics with the 12-inch arc and the sampler set, once they had the basics of those templates, they wanted to keep on coming to classes, and so they asked me to design a specific course, a structured course that they could keep coming to once a month to improve their skills. Because I love the sampler set so much, I really believe that it's a template set that should definitely be in your collection. It's a fantastic selection of shapes that all work really well together. But also great value for money. 6 template shapes that do so much more than just 6 shapes. And what I wanted to do when I first designed Dual was to show what you can do with just one set of templates. And so that's how Dual initially started for me. So Dual Quilt uses just the 12-inch arc, the starter that you get with the starter ruler, and also the sampler set. You can see that there shining on the camera. So 6 templates in there. In fact, it only uses 5 of the sampler set and the 12-inch arc. And so initially what I decided to do was I just drew with the template, started designing, and spent 3 weeks solid drawing the designs out on paper, which is where the fantastic stitching line discs. So this is a fantastic accessory set that So Steady have recently put together, a new accessory set that contains the spacing gauge, an absolute must, the lovely sort of accessory necklace, and then also stitching line discs and also echo guides. The stitching line discs enable you to draw out designs to size and actual size and scale, and so they save a lot of time when you're auditioning designs and playing around on paper. And I spent, as I said, I spent 3 weeks solid just drawing, and once I'd played around a lot on paper, all to specific size and shape, then I knew once I stitched it out, it worked first time. I wasn't having to adjust anything. My initial class that I taught once a month for 6 months. I spent a lot of time writing and illustrating very detailed instructions. Some of you may have seen some of my patterns before. You can see here some of the detailed illustrations showing exact placement of templates and the spacing gauge and the direction in which you'll stitch. And at the end of that first course with my initial students, it worked so well, and I thought it was just a shame that only people that could get to local classes could be able to do the course. And also I put quite a lot of effort into writing the pattern and the illustrations, and so I decided to turn it into the Dual Quilt pattern book, which I'm sure some of you have seen before. So I released Dual Quilt pattern book so that people wherever you were around the world could actually make Dual on your own without attending a class. However, because it's such a big project, it's quite an investment in time, quite an investment in fabric, And so if you take on the challenge of dual, some people, even with quite a lot of experience, find it really reassuring to have the backup of me as a tutor on hand, holding your hand all the way if you like, and also the camaraderie and the motivation that comes with making the quilt as part of a group. So it's really nice to have the support of fellow students and to see what they do. By teaching the course online over so many years, what I've done is also tweak the design, so you're able to stitch out dual exactly as the pattern book. If you love the design just as it is, then that's absolutely fine. We'll be running through every detail of every panel for you exactly as the pattern book. But along the way, what I like to do for people that have invested in doing the course with me is to give you some design alternatives. And as it's been 5 years now since the design came out, there's been some quite nice twists and turns along the way, which you may have seen if you've seen other dual quilts online. The dual quilt is one of my favourite classes to teach, and I used to teach it once a month over 6 months in person, and I was really missing that over the lockdown. And so during 2020 and 21, I decided I needed to try and put this course out there online in a live way. And so I taught myself how to film, edit, and also how to use Zoom to bring what is now a really well structured course with live sessions that are recorded via Zoom. I never thought I'd actually say that an online course was better than an in-person course, but this works really well. Obviously online means that I can reach a wider audience, people all over the world, but also it's a much better experience for you as a student. Firstly, you don't have to pack all of your kit up, all of your sewing machine paraphernalia, the kitchen sink. You know what it feels like when you go to a workshop, you feel like it's a never-ending packing. And so you don't need to do any of that. You're able to work from the comfort of your own sewing space, so you're always kind of got your chair at the right height and everything just as you like it. Secondly, when I used to teach this in person, we'd meet once a month for 6 months, and so everything that I taught in class that day, the students would have to remember when they got home, and then they were on their own for the whole month until the next session, apart from being able to just drop me a line by email. And so how it works over Zoom is I've broken it down, instead of just 6 classes with teaching quite big chunks of the design. The beauty of Zoom is that we can do smaller, shorter live sessions. So we get 12 sessions together, 10 actual educational sessions if you like. The first session is a chat about fabric choices, obviously all the equipment that you'll need, making sure everyone's okay with getting online. I appreciate there are still people learning how to do this from their tablets and computers, so we just make sure that we've covered everything so that you're all sort of set to go for session 2 when we start the stitching properly. And so then there are 10 sessions, stitching sessions, educational sessions, where I take you through every single block, every design. I actually draw the design out on paper, so you get a bird's eye view of me drawing the design, and then you also get to see me stitch it. So you get to see it in 2 different ways. I find this works really well. We all learn in different ways, and so being able to, and we're often quite visual people, and sometimes seeing it drawn and or stitched works better for some than others, and both together it means that you're seeing it happen twice, and so it's for, you know, really cementing the design. The education that you'll see is actually the camera is right in front of me when I'm stitching. The drawing, you get a bird's eye view from over the top, and all the stitching, the camera is right in front of me, so you're seeing it as my eyes, if you like, or as though you were sitting at the machine. Whereas in a class situation, often with watching a demonstration, you're stood on the opposite side of the table. You're watching the design happen upside down, so you have to reverse it when you go to sit back at your own sewing machine, and so that works much better. That can often be, you know, something that you don't realise is happening, but you have to flip it in your head. And more importantly, all of the live classes are recorded. So basically, I'm not asking you to stitch with me during the sessions. Each session is 1 to 2 hours, and they're approximately 2 to 3 weeks apart with homework in between. Towards the end of the course, the classes, the last few classes are more like 4 weeks apart, because the very big long panels, obviously there's a lot of stitching to do there, so you need more time between sessions to catch up. So 1 to 2 hours, you're purely watching, asking questions. It's a small class. I only have around 8 students per class, so it really feels like being in an in-person class. There's not 100 people in the class or 30 of us online, so it really is just like being in a personal in-person class. You're able to stop me at any point, tell me if you don't understand anything, we can go over anything, and so it works really well. Those live sessions are then recorded and they become available on the members area of my website. So once they're uploaded, and I'll email everyone and let you know when they're sort of processed and uploaded, and then you have access to those classes for as long as you like. So then it means that when you do go to your sewing room to do the exercises and the patterns before the next session, you can have me there in your sewing room going through everything step by step. You can see me do a little part of the design, pause, put me on pause, you stitch that little bit, rewind me for as many times as you like. The classes are also there for as long as I'm in business. The classes from 2020, when I first structured this online course, are still there now. So if you want to make another jewel quilt in a few years' time, or want to go back to a particular design of the quilt, or even the sort of the binding techniques that we discuss, so you'll have that education there for as long as, you know, as long as I'm in business. So pretty long, you know, long term, I hope anyway. That all works incredibly well for students, and they find being able to work within their own space and their own time whenever they have the time to sew is what makes it so brilliant. Also, over such a long course, the course is 7 or 8 months, so as I say, we kick off late September and we usually like to get done by April, May, because then the weather's warming up and often people aren't quilting so much in the summer. And obviously over such a long time period, something in life always gets in the way, whether it be unexpected medical issues or other, you know, life circumstances. There's going to be times when you're super busy, maybe you miss a class, maybe, you know, life's just hectic and you're falling behind with the homework. None of that matters. It always happens every year. Everyone in the group ends up at different stages. And as I say, if you miss a class because of an appointment, that's not a problem because it's recorded. Sometimes if there's another class on another day at a different time, I don't mind people sort of swapping, you know, hopping into a different class if that works for them on occasion. But of course, as I said, your group's class will be recorded for you to watch whenever you like. And it's quite normal for people to end up at different stages in the make. You don't all have to be finished. By session 12, it's most unusual for everyone in the group to be finished. There's always 1 or 2 people that, you know, have been fortunate with their time and they're totally finished, but there's more likely than not the majority of people are still finishing off, but they've got access to all the education and all the elements that they need to be able to do that for themselves. There's no race here, you know, you do it within your own time. So how the sessions work, it's broken down into small manageable chunks. We're using the Brilliant Sampler set, and we start off really, really gently. You need just the basics of ruler work knowledge. So if you've just managed to, you know how to fit the ruler foot, you've done some basic playing with the straight line and a curve of the starter ruler, maybe played a little bit with the sampler set, but maybe feel that you're okay, but you're kind of not developing or getting as far as you'd like so quickly. Jewel works as a brilliant development program. When I initially designed Jewel, I designed it to show how creative you can be with a small number of templates. I had no idea that it would turn into this brilliant development program that it is. And the reason that works so well is that apart from the centre square, all of the other blocks we repeat 4 times. And I always say to students in class, okay, so you come on a beginner's workshop, and then what are you always told? You're always told to go home and practice. and we never do we? Practicing's really boring. So what Jewel does in effect is it's making you practice without you realising that you're practicing, because every block that we stitch it 4 times. So we start with a very simple small 6-inch block here that's quite manageable, and obviously you learn the design the first time you stitch it, paying attention to all the instructions, and then the second time you stitch it you're getting a little bit more familiar, and you've repeated it, so you're getting used to it now, so you're not having to look back at the instructions quite so much. By the time you've stitched it 4 times, you're not even needing to watch the video, look at the instructions, you're just sort of on a roll, and you've practiced those templates, pretty well. And so then we move on to, slightly bigger, onto panel 2. And as you can see, the blocks get bigger and the panels get bigger as we work out. And so that's also developing your skills of working with bigger bits of quilt sandwich. So it's developing that working with more weight and how fabric flops about and moves. So it's a really good development program. Most people that take on the challenge of Jewel cannot believe how far they come from when they start it in the autumn to when they've completed it. They actually can't believe that they've made something that looks like Jewel, their own bespoke Jewel. And secondly, just remembering back as to, how quickly that skill level has developed. It's made quilt as you go, so we put it together quilt as you go. And so you can also make it into 3 different sizes if you like. You don't have to make the whole quilt. The centre panel makes a really nice cushion size. This is 18 inches. The first round that goes together makes a really nice baby quilt size. So again, if you're ever wanting to make another one, or some students actually choose to make 2 along the way. So because of the practicing element, they'll have the initial one that they're doing in fabrics that are not so precious, and so they're not so hung up about making any mistakes. And then they'll have their really precious fabrics, and they do 2 alongside each other, which works brilliantly. But you don't have to do 2 to the big size if you like. A lot of people stop at this. The second round is 50 inches and makes a brilliant lap quilt. So you might decide to make the quilt to 50 inches. You could make 2 or use your practice pieces, and then only do the third round. Those big panels along the end are quite a lot of work, and so you're only ever going to want to do those once. So yeah, you can stop at any point, at any size point, and you can also make 2. We'll be running through this in session 1, and I do always suggest that practicing the first couple of blocks initially is a really good idea, especially this centre panel. There's a lot going on there to get right first time, and it's the one block that we don't repeat 4 times. So doing that initially on a practice quilt sandwich is the way to go. I'm not saying that you will need to make 2 of everything to practice, but certainly for the first kind of round, practice pieces are really useful, and they don't take up that much fabric. By the time that you're out then to round 2, you're far more confident and not feeling that as though you feel the need to practice a block before you do it on your final fabrics. So just to recap there, the course is 12 live sessions via Zoom, 1 to 2 hours a session, small class groups of around 8 students or less. We could still make it work if there was about 5 or 6, but obviously 8's around a good number. 12 sessions, recorded classes that you get to watch back whenever you like. We also have a private Jewel Quilt Makers group on the website where you can post your progress and interact with students. If you're having a frustrating day or a brilliant day, you can share that on the group forum, which is a closed forum just for people on the group. So it's, you're not doing it publicly on social media. And sometimes just talking to other students about how they're getting on, how you're getting on, or if I'm not available, if I'm teaching, maybe another student can help you with a problem that you have. So that works really well as well for the group to come together. The cost of the course is $250. I do enable people to pay that in 4 installments. So a down payment of $62.50 and then 3 other installments of $62.50. And so Steady have put up the number of classes. They're available on the university for you as the deposit, as the down payment, to secure your place. Once you've paid the first instalment to secure your place, the second instalment will be due in October, and then third and fourth instalments in December and February. So they're every other month for the final 2. So the payment is spaced out. Of course, So Steady have the dual quilt pattern book available. It's a high quality wire bound book. I don't insist that you have to purchase the pattern book, and it's not included in the course fee for a reason. Some people may have bought the pattern book a couple of years ago, and as I said, maybe found it intimidating or just not the right time to start such a big project. So that's why it's not included in the course fee, because some people have already bought it. You'll get PDF instructions of every page along the way. So as I say, you don't have to purchase the pattern book, but some people just like to have the proper printed copy, and that they can make their own notes, of course. So that's totally up to you. Of course, I'd love you to have the pattern book, but I'm saying you don't have to have it to be able to do the workshop. Well, before I leave you to explore the dates and times of the schedule of the upcoming course, I'd just like to show you the back of Jewel as well. Obviously you get to make it in any colour that you like. I've made mine completely as a whole cloth, so you can see with all the panels and the cornerstones are all in the same fabric and the sashing. But what I highly recommend is that people actually make it as a purely double-sided quilt. Every quilt we make with a backing usually looks like this, doesn't it? All one fabric. And so with Jewel, it's really, really nice to take advantage of the fact it's quilt as you go. And therefore, even if you didn't want to have all the cornerstones a different colour, what you can also do is just have the sashing. Just take advantage of the fact that you can do something a little bit more creative. So you could have a really colourful pattern sashing fabric and have all the other panels the same colour. Some people have the quilt completely contrasting colours, so they might have something really pale this side or bright colours one side and muted on the other side. And I also teach, as part of the course, because of that, I teach multicoloured double-sided binding as part of the course as well, which is really exciting. Here you can see I've got a multicoloured panel in this middle part of the big panel, which works brilliantly as like a little accent along that long panel. But if you've got completely different colours on your quilt, you can also do this, but do different colours each side, so that's quite exciting. So as I say, check out the dates. So Steady have all the information on the university, the proposed dates of each class every 2 to 3 weeks between September and April, May next year. And as I say, just to secure your place, all you need to do is pay the deposit, and then we'll meet in about 3 weeks' time to excitingly discuss what fabrics you're going to choose and to get underway. So I'm really excited, and hope to see you online very, very soon.
This is another way we can use our rulers. This is a block, 12-inch block, and we have 4 3-inch small block. So we have 16 small block, okay? We can have half square triangles, so we can make flying geese. And we have square on the corner. And we will start in the middle this time. And I will use this ruler. It's Bloom. I like it very much. We have my bobbin up, and we have it in the middle. and I will have my thread under the ruler. Okay, and we have the lines on the lines, and here we go. I have small tucking stitches, and then we go, I falling, and I'm go up to the middle, and then we go down again, and we take my little bump. I call it bump. And then I turn it around, so I take the other one, so we can see we have the lines on the lines, and then we go a little bump, and then we go up to the middle, stop a little bit, and then we go down again, and we take the little bump. Then I cut my thread. I cut only the bobbin thread and not the really nice thread, okay? And here we go, the small bump, and then we go up, and we go down. We take the small bump, and we see they are exactly. So here we have a little flower. I take this one now, and I look at my lines again, and then here we go. And we follow it, and we go up and go down, and then we take the little bump, and then we go down to the middle. I think it's very nice. Now you have 4, but I will have 8. So now we take them on the diagonal, and you can look at this line, and we had a middle line, and here we go. A little bump, and then we go up, and then we go down, and we take the little bump again. Then we take it the next one, diagonal, and you can see the marking on the ruler. And here we go. And then we go up, and then we go down, and we take the little bump, and we are in the middle. I turn it around so you can see what I'm doing. And here we have the diagonal, and here we go. We can look at the lines on the ruler, so it will be nice. And we have the bump on the right place, and here we go. The lines on the ruler is very important that we will look at. We can make so beautiful things if we use them, okay? And we have one more left. Now we can see there have we the lines, and we have the lines, and then we go the little bump, and then we go up, and then we go down, and we follow it, and here we have the small bump again, and then we go down, and here we have a nice flower. And you can use that in a block that you have a square. This square is 6 and 6. So here we have it. Look, wow, I love that flower bloom. You have a small flower in the middle, and I think that's very, very nice. Perfect. So you can use it in a small block only. So now we will make the flying geese, and I will use this you can start in the, we can do like this, but we can start here and we can go like this, and we take and the other one. I don't know what we will do. I think I will have it this way. So I'm starting. You can do it the other way if you want, but I do this way this time. And I figure out that I have it little wrong, because there is an simulance, but you can make it at 12-inch square, but I have 12.5-inch square, but it will be 12-inch square is better. So here we go. I take only the half here, and here we go, and I'm going back to the middle, and then we take the other side. I have the middle, and then here we go, I take only the half, and then I'm going back. You can have it like this if you want. You can have, look at this line, and you can have one more. And here we go. And I use the lines on the ruler, and we make the same. No, not that line, and that line. So you can see the lines, and here we go. And then we have a nice flower. This I make some tucking stitches, and I cut it. Here we go. And I cutting it, and we go to the next one. I think it looks very good. Yeah, I think so. And then we make the other 3 at the same. Okay, we are taking the next one. And now we are at the halfway and go back. And now we will look at that line and that line, so we have it in the right place. And we will have some tucking stitches, and I will cut the thread, and I will take off my bobbin, and we are cutting it. Okay, here we go. So, and now we have made this all in the flying geese. So we have this corner stone left. We can take it in the middle, we can take it, I think I will have it on the other way this time, and we go from the middle, and I have you the seam allowance, I have got that, but we are starting in the corner, so it's okay, it looks good. I don't think it's so bad. And then we go here. So I have the top at the bottom. And I will have my bobbin up. And here we have it. And then we go a needle down, and we have at this way this time, so we have the bump up, and here we go, small touching stitches, and then we go, and here we have the bump, and then we go down at the bump, and then we go down to the middle, or to the corner, okay, and then we make a half one, and then here we go, and we take it slowly at the bump, and then we go back slowly, and then we go back, and then we take the other one, and here we go, and we take the bump, and then we go up, and then we take the bump and down again. And I'm taking some tacking stitches, and then we cutting the threads. Oh, okay, I'm cutting at the back side, and here we have it. I think that's very nice. If you want, you can have more, you can take it in the neck, that corner too, if you want, but I don't do that today. I will only have the small one, okay? So here we have the next corner, and here we go at the next corner. Okay, I will take another ruler that I love very much. So I'm back very soon. Here we have it. I like this straight away. Oh, straight away. I love it. You can use it too very much, but now I will show you. You can think you have a seam here, so we will use it when we stitching in the ditch. Okay, so here we go, we have a small line, and that line will you have at this line or your seam. So you are stitching in the ditch. So I'm only starting a little bit, and then here we go. You can see here how I line. So we can go all the way down, and we can go at different way, and I don't know. I think we take the old. So I'm going down to the next, and you can sew straight and very nice. And if you are sewing in the ditch, you can sew very nice. And now we are at the end like this, and here we go. So now we are sewing here. This is also a ditch, so we're sewing here, okay? And you can, there is a bigger variant of this ruler, so you can use too. And I thinking how we will go. Yeah, we go this way down, okay? So we go here, and here we are going. So, and we are going on all the lines. So we're going in the ditch, and we go all the way down. Now we have sewing the all. We are there. We will start, okay? And here we go. And we take our bobbin up, and we are cutting our threads, okay? We have made it all. Yes. I was changing my bobbin because it was finished. So, and here we are looking, and the back side looks very good too. And here we have made this block, 12-inch block. You can see here we have it, and I think it's very nice. And you can use it if you have made a block with fabric too. And we have only used 3 rulers this time. Perfect. It's finished. Bye bye.